107.7 FM.
Melody FM, Baba.
107.7 Melody FM.
107.7 FM.
Headlines that shape the nation. Stories from the north, south, east, and west. Brought to you fresh and fast.
With expert analysis, sharp opinions, and sound presenters breaking it all down clearly, smartly, and straight to the point.
Politics, business, security, health, society. Nothing escapes the spotlight.
This is your head start into Nigeria's biggest stories of the day. From the Dailies, news that talks to you. Only on Melody 107.7 FM, Lagos.
The time is 8 o'clock.
Melody 107.
From the pages of Nigeria's top newspapers to your radio.
It's from the Dailies, your early morning companion.
Every Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 8:30 a.m.
on Melody 107.7 FM.
Headlines that shape the nation. Stories from the north, south, east, and west. Brought to you fresh and fast.
With expert analysis, sharp opinions, and sound presenters breaking it all down clearly, smartly, and straight to the point.
Politics, business, security, health, society. Nothing escapes the spotlight.
This is your head start into Nigeria's biggest stories of the day. From the Dailies, news that talks to you. Only on Melody 107.7 FM, Lagos.
From the Dailies on your favorite radio station. Melody 107.7 FM. Stay tuned.
Good morning, Lagos. Good morning, Nigeria. Welcome to From the Dailies right here on Melody 107.7 FM in the city of Lagos. I am Roland Imoyera, welcoming you to this segment of our daily broadcast for the day. We call this From the Dailies right here on Melody 107.7 FM. This is where we're going to take you through stories that made it to the inside pages as well as the cover pages of the papers for the day, while bringing you some analysis along the way as we go along. Thanks for joining us this morning. Of course, I'm not alone. I've got with me the gentleman of the press who's already smiling and looking at me this morning.
Well, it feels good to be here this morning. This Thursday, July 30, 2026. As I always say, take size the clock, take what you have to do quick. I am Matthew Ijabiken, MOI, reporting for duty this morning.
All right, this morning I'll be taking you through stories that made it to the pages of the Punch as well as the Nigerian Tribune newspapers.
For my end, I have the Nation as well as Vanguard newspapers this morning.
Like we always do on the program at the right time, we will be opening the studio lines for you to call in this morning to give your thoughts, opinions on any of the stories that will resonate with you. You have opinions you want to share, you have contributions you want to make to any of the stories that are confronting the country for today. And you have the opportunity to do that at the right time in the course of the program. Our WhatsApp platforms are also there. Our Facebook page is also there for you to watch us live, as well as drop your comments if you have any for us this morning.
All right, kickstarting with the Nation newspaper with the big bold one. Panel chair. How fake agency got allocation in budget 2026? With artist rider, House committee ends the public sessions without Adeyemi's testimony. You can find this on page 3 of the Nation newspaper this morning. Above the masthead, Ori raid DSS arraigns 5 Ansarud terrorists. You can find this on page 26 of the Nation newspaper. Moving on, Army appoints GOCs for 4 new divisions. That's on page 4 for details. Governorship Freed Festers as Oyo APC G6 insists on consensus. That's on page 5 for details. Away from that, Sultan backs massive clampdown on terrorist hideouts, and that's on page 28 for details. Okay, exploit global challenges for growth. Okonjo Iweala says. All of these are more on the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning.
Yes, Matthew, I think we should start this morning our analysis from this big one on the front page of the Nation for today, talking about panel chair, how fake agency got allocation in budget 2026 for a while now. What has been happening? What are they going to be doing with the findings of all this investigative hearing that we are we've been seeing for the past 1 week or thereabout, before even this case, before the court now come to make their own final pronunciation concerning this particular man that is behind the scene. So I don't really know. Is it just for formality? What is going to be the end?
It can't just be for formality. I'm sure something good will come out of it, and so at least it can serve as a deterrent to to others who are already doing this or having intention to do this. And let me just read down into the story. The panel chairman Gaji, while challenging a witness's testimony, said the committee's investigations had revealed that neither the office of the director of the administration and support services nor the official identified as Akombi Adewale exists in the State House. He cautioned witnesses against creating the impression that the State House played any role in the controversy.
Well, there's no way we can verify that, because the so-called name you just mentioned now, the alleged died in the fire incident in Abuja I think last year was thereabout. So we don't really know. It's twisted. But I believe due investigation and proper scrutiny with all this, the truth will come out. But my own is that anybody that is found culpable should be made, aside from even the Adeyemi himself now, will be made to face the wrath of law, because this is a very embarrassing situation to not just the presidency but the country as a whole, at large. Yes, because we don't know how the international community will be viewing the country right now. If you can have this kind of embarrassing situation at the top level of government.
It also rub on how they will treat many of our Nigerians, fellow citizens
over there. Yes. In a time that we are trying to build credibility for the country, this is not a good time for the country right now. But let's just see how they salvage the situation and try to remedy and free themselves from all this quagmire. And let me move on now to my own story from the Punch newspaper. 2026 budget. Government agencies vote 400 billion naira for mosque, palaces, halls. Experts demand zero budgeting over wasteful votes. Matthew, we've been talking about all this for quite a while now. In the 2026 budget, government agencies vote 400 billion naira for mosque, palaces, halls. I don't know how
should that be part of their budget in the first place?
Government agencies. How does this translate into making life better for the people? How does this translate to making the economy better for the people? These palaces for who? Halls for. I don't really understand the way.
What I'm even saying is that should that even be the responsibility of the government?
It's supposed to be from the private sector.
Yes. I mean,
you want a place of worship?
If you want to run a place of worship, yes, whoever.
Churches, mosques,
it should be sponsored by whoever is worshiping there, or whoever has set that up. It shouldn't be from the government.
They talk about the palaces as well. Talk about all
the palaces too. They get what they call what's it called? Is it Shakole or something from the community itself? So to be the palace.
You're quite right, Matthew. This just goes to tell you how wasteful these guys have been with our resources. Little wonder the country is where it is today.
Then it also shows that our level of what we count to be important.
Our pettiness when it comes to things like this.
We should be prioritizing making the economic standard of living
not just economy
to be easier for the common masses. Do you get? It's not easy to afford a 3 square meal anymore.
Apart from even the economy, what about education? What about the health sector? These are critical infrastructures that we really. What about electricity? These are things that really matter. Really matters. Our road system in the country is these trivialities.
At least we should prioritize what matters. Yes. The essentials, actually.
Yes, these are things that directly affect the life of the people and will translate into better governance. So people will feel okay, we truly have a government who truly cares for the people, not ways that these guys used to siphon funds. And it just brings me, Matthew. It just brings me now to this issue of how do we checkmate this funding that is being dispensed to all these ministries, departments, and agencies? How do they spend these funds? Which agency is really responsible for tracking down projects and ensure
we have ICPC?
Are they really functioning? Are they really doing what they're supposed to do? The people have been crying that these guys are just going after perceived opposition. These are things that we really need to take seriously in this country. Let me move on to other stories on the front page of the Punch newspaper for today. Trump immigration crackdown. U.S. arrest visa overstayers at airports. That's on page 8 of the paper. Moving on. Osun 2026. Adeleke kicks as police arrest SSG 5 others. I saw that story yesterday where they say police invaded the house of the residents of the Secretary of the State Government. Arrested some family members and all. But I also saw somewhere where they said he has been arrested for vote buying. I don't know which, but someone to look at it like, well, it's from the opposition. I don't look at the power. They are the ones in power in the state right now. Yes. But at the federal level, they've been saying they are trying to use the federal might to silence the voice of not even opposition. Yeah, opposition, yes, on the federal level, but at the state, they are the ruling party in the particular state. Osun is really tense right now, Matthew. So let's just hope that the election comes and we witness a free, fair, and peaceful election, because the political killings we've been witnessing, the kind of tension, it's so thick in the air right now in that particular state. So we know that, things will be done in the right direction. All right, let me move on to the big bold one on the front page of the Punch for this morning. Fake agency scandal. HOS admits mistakes as reps uncover irregular approvals. Matthew. This is on page 7 of the paper. It has the rider. Reps moves to secure court order to produce Adeyemi from custody. Why we could not produce Adeyemi before Reps Committee, that's credited to the IGP. OAGF, officials confesses giving State House Permanent Secretary letter to Adeyemi. Matthew. With all this revelation now, don't you think it is time that both these people that are even culpable in this, the one that has confesses to giving,
they should be prosecuted. They should be prosecuted. And they are saying that they admit to their mistakes as reps uncover irregular approvals.
In Senate climbs, we've been saying it in Senate climbs. Some people would have resigned.
Can't you force them to resign, or can there be panels to actually prosecute them and take them out of office?
Well, the fact is that we was mentioned in this program that asking Nigerians, politicians, and public officers to resign is like asking them to go and commit suicide, which is something that is like alien to them. But in a Senate clime, we know that some people would have. This controversy is enough sometimes to even bring down an entire government. Sometimes in some cases, so we need to see people going to these public offices with a mindset that we are going to serve the people, and if there's anything that's going to affect our credit, because credibility is very key. It's not something that you just buy, from the market like that. But this is something that is very, very. If you are not doing your job well, if you look the other at some level, we expect some high level of professionalism now, we'll call it, or competence. Yeah, these are things that should not be looked and swept under the carpet just like that. It's okay. All right, let's just continue now. How Obasanjo's team won $30 billion debt relief for Nigeria. That is credited to Okonjo-Iweala. It's on page 24 of the paper. COS names GOCs for 4 new army divisions. That is on page 20 of the Punch for this morning. Other stories on the front page of the Punch newspaper. DSS arraigns 5 Ansaru suspects over Oyo school abduction. That is on page 9. Hoodlums kill Lagos dispatch rider for resisting extortion. You can get that on page 4 and 5. This is something that's very sad, Matthew. Extrajudicial killing. We also won for the student at the University of Jos who was allegedly killed for over a stolen phone or thereabouts. These are things that jungle justice should be, discouraged in all its forms. And anybody that is caught, engaging in that act should be made to face the law, to serve as deterrent to others who even have the mind to engage in such extrajudicial killings. Tetfund bars varsities.
Sorry, please, before you move on. You see, in Lagos State, I don't know of other states, but Lagos State, I think it's like we are indulging, or should I say, we are encouraging hoodlums on the streets. Understand? Because government after government, understand, they could. I mean, there's a way you can actually send it away, but you now establish a body. I don't want to mention anybody, per se. Where they are always here. They'll tell you one go Rita. They are collecting money from extorting money from even dispatch riders, commercial bus drivers, from commercial motorcyclists, and all of those.
I was surprised one day.
How long should I go? So And they even say it like it's their entitlement.
Yeah, I was even driving on the island sometime when one of my friends called to tell me his car broke down on the road, and these guys just came from nowhere. They say before he will even be able to fix his car, he has to settle them.
Yes.
Before he will be able to before he's allowed to fix his car that broke down on the road, he has to sort out those guys. They would not even allow him to even. They helped him to push out of the road and insisted on collecting.
The funny thing is that they even do it. They even do this. They carry out this act in the presence of policemen.
It's an aberration because hoodlums kills dispatch rider for resisting extortion. This is the boldness for us, in Lagos. Yeah, it's not a good one.
And they feel entitled to it.
It's not a good one. It's not a good one. These are things that we really need to look to clear these hoodlums from the road, clear them from our streets. The way they are becoming so brazen, it's I don't know. You can't. I was discussing with someone yesterday. He was telling me that even to to even go across these pedestrian bridges.
Yes,
it's worrisome. You're scared because you never can tell where you will meet these guys who harass you almost on a daily basis.
Harass you and demand certain things from you.
Yes, it's
money in most cases.
Like you rightly said, they make it look like it is their right, their entitlement. And if you don't do that, whatever happens to you, sometimes they damage your car, sometimes they injure you.
You just mentioned somebody being killed.
Yes.
So every other thing is even secondary. But being killed, that's the height of it.
All right, let me take my last story from the Punch newspaper before we move on this morning. TED fund bars varsities with abandoned projects from 2027 funding. I think this is a good one coming from the Tertiary Education and Trust Fund, and barring varsities with abandoned projects from 2027 funding. Better complete the project that you have before we release funding and another one. This also brings us to the question of accountability and continuity sometimes, because you see one administration starting a particular project and before you know what's happening, another one coming to abandon. But this is not even this is even located within the education system. Yes, I don't think we should be having abandoned projects because most of these funds sometimes have been released, and so why should it be abandoned? And you're looking for other funds for other alternative projects. I feel we should just complete one before we move on to the next one. Well, you can read up more on that story from page 8 on page 8 of the Punch newspaper for this morning. Those are the stories on the front page of the Punch newspaper today.
And right now I have with me on the Vanguard newspaper with the big bold 1 PFIPC. We failed due diligence on recruitment waiver as related to HCSF. It has a few kickers, says in almost 100 years of federal civil service, situation as this has never happened. Then the second one, Accountant General's office admits lapses, blames the individual officer for letter diversion. With the last kicker, why we failed to produce at EME, and that's what it said to the Inspector General of Police. Details of this on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. And now above the masthead, Dangote Refinery critical to Nigeria's $1 trillion economy vision, and that's related to federal government. That's on page 20 for details. Infrastructure, Wike's delivery in Rivers, Abuja, template for leaders, and that's related to Okote Airport. That's on page 15 for details. Away from that, Chief of Army Staff names the GOCs for newly established Army divisions. That's on page 9 for details. Moving on, U.S. to end visa services in Abuja, 24 other African posts, August 1. And that's on page 8 for details. Okay, TED Fund cracks down on abandoned projects. That's on page 32 for details. Mob killing, and that's related to suspects. Still talking about jungle justice.
Was the phone actually recovered from him?
Can you just imagine? So that's on page 7. Osun government poll. Osun governorship poll. Police nab SSG 5 others over alleged vote buying. That's on page 13 for details. And lastly, on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, Nigerians should feel dividends of reforms, and that's what it said to Okonjo Iweala. You can find all of this on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
I think she just summed up what we've been talking about, Matthew. Nigerians should feel the dividends of this reform. Presidency has been everywhere. Just yesterday or 2 days ago, the president directed his communication team to engage more with Nigerians now. Let Nigerians know exactly what the federal government is doing, in its reforms. As the economy, like the presidency said, the economy is taking a shape, for the best in the country right now.
The economy is taking shape.
That's what they're saying.
From his own perspective.
Matthew, they know what they are saying. They are the ones in government.
But, I agree they know what they are saying from their perspective. But is that from the perspective of the common man on the streets? Like the economy is what? Even the blind man knows.
Matthew, well, let's not just go in. Let's not shake that table this morning. Let's quickly move on now to the Nigerian Tribune newspaper because of our time on the program for today. Atiku tackles Tinubu for exceeding 2024 borrowing limit by 4.79 trillion naira. That is on page 4. This is something that is really worrisome if you want to interrogate it further. Now, moving on to other stories now. Plus to remove me is about 2027, not on performance. Ondo Speaker alleges. That is on page 15 of the paper. It has the rider. Lawmakers allege misconduct as reason for planned removal. If they want to remove him, I think the lawmakers, they know what to do to just let them just
to impeach him
and stop elongating, and we're getting allegations and counter allegations every day. Sometimes the governor was even dragged into it at some point, who at the end of the day came out to say, well, I am not involved in whatever is going on in the house and all. Let me move on now to other stories. On page 28, PFIPC IGP asked reps panel to obtain warrant for police to produce Adeyemi as head of service admits administrative lapses. All right, moving on to the big bold one on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune newspaper for this morning. Tension in Osun as police arrest SSG, 5 others. With the rider, announced recovery of 4.8 million naira and voters register. Adeleke's campaign council raises concern over arrest ahead of poll. Stakeholders reject police commissioner at meeting. Demand is redeployment. INEC assures of credible poll. Deploys 4,427 beavers. Extend PVC collection. It's a whole lot coming out from that state, Matthew, from page 13 of the paper. They say they announced the recovery of 4.8 million naira as well as voters register. It is a very strong allegation. Even the commissioner of police, calls have been made in recent time for his redeployment, as he has been perceived to be to be compromised one way or the other. Well, I don't really know what's really the true situation, but what we've been getting, that state, as you mentioned earlier, that state is very, very, very tense right now as the build up to the governorship election and counter allegations. All right, let's move on to other stories now. High 2026, Southwest tops in petrol, diesel, cooking gas consumption. That is credited to reports. These are some of the things that affect Nigerians directly. Southwest is topping in petrol, diesel, cooking gas consumption. Okay, COAS appoints GOCs for new army division as operation begins, which is a good one for the fight against insecurity, as the presidency has expanded the divisions of the army across the country. We saw, I think it's starting with the army. Let's hope. I know that very soon we might get to see the expansion across other paramilitary agencies in the country. Nigeria to end visa amnesty by July 31 as U.S. warns citizens of fines and re-entry ban. All right, you can read up more on page 4 of the paper for that one. DSS arraigned 2 Ansaru commanders, 3 others over Orire abduction as well as killings. That's on page 3 of the paper. And lastly, on the health corner, why watching too much TV in midlife is bad for brain. That is credited to his study, Matthew.
I just hope some of us who are addicted to TV.
Yes. I was discussing with a colleague yesterday, and we were talking about this. Actually, we just realized that at a certain point in your life, you discover that some things are no longer important. The way you watch TV in the past, and I doubt if you have so many people that can spend 20-30 minutes, these days straight watching TV.
But then it's not the same effect you get from watching your phone. The number of hours we spend on phone now is not much.
The fact is that what are you doing on the phone? What are you doing?